So we all have elderly relatives. We have parents or grandparents. One of the biggest challenges that the elderly face is fragile skin. And this is really a very big issue. The skin in the elderly is tissue paper thin. It can tear or rip at the slightest touch. And the elderly will often experience this on a daily basis, and very slight touches can result in dramatic bruising. And this damage can then lead to things like infection and even amputation. I see this in my own mother when she plays with her grandchildren. The slightest knock or bash can result in damage that can last for weeks, even months. So the problem, so the images you can see here show this. So this really is a significant unmet need globally. More than 2 billion adults will be over 60 by 2030, and there is no effective treatment. The vast majority will experience fragile skin, and 30% of them, so 30% of people in this room, will experience severe skin fragility, where it's challenging for them to even hold their grandchildren. The elderly population today is actually the wealthiest over 60 population in history. So they have the spending power, but their needs have not yet been met. Currently, there is no effective treatment. They are given standard moisturizers, but this serves purely as a protective barrier. It doesn't actually support the skin beneath. Our technology actually will give the elderly back their lives by restoring skin health. And we can do this by promoting natural regeneration of the skin. There is no prescription needed. It's entirely plant-based, and it can be used on a daily basis over long periods of time. This is the first of its kind treatment for age-related skin fragility. So our proprietary biogenic amine technology actually promotes skin strength and rejuvenation. We have validated this in lab-based models, 3D skin models, and we have confirmed that we see a strong increase in the thickness of the epidermis. You can see the purple here. This is a 25% increase in the thickness of the skin, so this is quite dramatic. Functionally, we see a reduction in the amount of water that's lost from the skin, which is so important in the elderly. Users will notice that the skin becomes stronger, it's more resilient, it's less dry, and even if there is some damage, it will repair much more quickly. Our product is fully formulated. We have a manufacturer in place, and we're ready to launch in 2026. So the team is made up of 3 people. So Stephen Dung is a chief dermatologist and consultant dermatologist at the National Skincare Centre with a focus on skin barrier disorders. Annie Joseph is here and has got a lot of experience in this space, and I am a biomedical researcher. So I'll jump onto the last slide just because of the time, but we're asking for 1.5 million in seed funding to fuel this launch and drive early adoption. The bulk of funds will go to beyond manufacturing, marketing, and building our team, and we're aiming for a 30% traction with dermatologists in year 1 and 150K in sales by year 2. So I would ask you to go home, talk to your elderly relatives, and ask them about their skin, and join us in reforming aging by giving the elderly back their skin. Thank you.
Thank you, Stelea. Now let's go on to the Q&A.
Is it something that you have to pour yourself into, like Star Wars, like in the back of that tank, or actually put it just on arms, or how often?
So this is a topical cream that will be applied to the high hit areas, which are typically the arms, the lower legs, so the ones that have had UV exposure. You're looking at a minimum of daily treatment, but it could be used as many times a day as you like.
Okay, in one of your slides, you say that this is a first-of-a-kind treatment for age-related skin fragility, and so I presume there are no competitors out there. So assuming that this is an effective treatment for age-related skin fragility, why would you price the product at or below standard moisturizers? That is better and it means the market need, there's no competition.
Yeah, so the goal initially is to launch in Singapore and to really be able to tackle as much of that market as possible, which is why we're going for a similar price point. So for those that are currently using standard moisturizers, it's not much of a switch for them just to switch. The price point at this stage would remain the same. That's the reason. Yes, please.
So that's exactly the way we're trying to position this, because we've actually done a consumer insight survey, and they've told us what is the price point that they're willing to use. Because all we're trying to do is to launch a moisturizer that's specifically tailored for elderly skin. And so we're going to price it competitively, where it makes it a lot easier for someone who's using a moisturizer now to just switch. So that's the pricing strategy that we're aiming for.
Planning to launch globally, or is it just in Singapore right now? And is there any regulatory pathway that goes through?
Yeah, so because this would be a dermaceutical, which means you basically in Singapore, you just notify, it takes 1 day. And so there is a ASEAN cosmetic, so it's actually very straight. It will take anywhere between a couple of days to 1 week. So the plan is to launch in Singapore first, and we launch in Southeast Asia. But yes, eventually to Europe and North America would be the aim. Yes.
Okay, in one of your slides, you say that the formulation is protected as proprietary know-how. What measures will you take to protect this know-how? Because big labs will be able to reverse engineer what you've done.
Yes, so in theory they will at some stage, but it's a challenging formulation, so there's specific know-how within the actual formulation. There's also know-how within the select combination of ingredients that we've used. We're actually targeting skin fragility in multiple different ways, and we're delivering those actually as plant extracts. So the name of the molecules are not on the side of the tubes, they're delivered as plant extracts. All of this will significantly delay the ability to reverse engineer it.
So you've got to run very fast.
Yes, exactly. This needs to be very fast, very hard.